Welcome back, TWU Local 258. Thanks a lot for joining us today. The last transit clip that we did was in regards to rebuttals. And so some of you have reached out to us asking us pertaining to grievances. Some of you have asked us, what's a grievance? How do you file a grievance? Where can I get the grievance form, etc. So to join us here today to explain all of that is our Executive Vice President, Pete Wilson. He deals with all of the grievances, the hearings, step twos, the arbitrations, etc. So before I hand it over to Pete Wilson, I'm going to quickly share my screen just to give you guys the exact wording as per our MOU in terms of what is a grievance. So allow me quickly to just share my screen here. This is our TWU Local 258 webpage in case you want to find our MOUs. This is the main page. Just scroll all the way to where it says MOUs. You see that right there, you guys? MOUs. Click on that, and then scroll down and look for your group that you're looking for, whether it's operators, transit fare inspectors, automotive service workers MTA, automotive service workers CCSF, or the multi-unit. These are all of our MOUs, as you can see right there. So we want transit operators. We're going to click transit operators. Boom, check that out. We have several different MOUs right here, going back several different years in case you guys want to go back and see some of the previous MOUs. Hours that we are looking for, let's see, not that one, not that one, nope, not this one. As you can see, the years pop up there. There it is right there. We click on it. It takes us to the contract right there. That's the current one. As you can see, July 1, 2022 to June 30th, 2024. We're going to scroll all the way down. There it is right there. Section 22.1, definition of a grievance. Let me read this real quick, you guys. Paragraph 285. It says, a grievance shall be defined as any dispute or allegation by an employee, a group of employees, or the Transport Workers Union Local 258 involving the interpretation or application of this agreement, including suspension and disciplinary discharge of employees. The employee, group of employees, or the Transport Workers Union Local 258 shall be referred to as the grievant. So that right there is the definition of a grievance, okay? It says here, a grievance does not include the following. Number one, all civil service rules excluded pursuant to Charter Section 884093. Number two, the SFMTA's exercise of management rights. And number three, written reprimands, provided, however, that employees shall be entitled to submit a written rebuttal to any written reprimand within 30 days from the date of the reprimand to the manager of employee and labor relations. The SFMTA will include any timely rebuttal in the employee's official personnel file with the reprimand. This is what we talked about at the previous transit clip. Now, I'm going to go, that's the official definition of a grievance right there, you guys. I'm going to quickly go back to the home page. You see right here where it says notices, docs, and form. I'm going to click on that. And you guys see this right here, Transport Workers Union Local 258 grievance form. Click on that, boom. You can download that form right there, fill it out. And of course, your chairperson also has immediate and instant access to this. So please work with your chairperson pertaining to any grievances that you want to fill out. Remember, the chairperson is always your first line of defense. Now, Pete Wilson, do us a favor, run us through what is a grievance and how you fill it out. Take it away, Pete Wilson.
Thank you, Roger. Can I go ahead and share my screen? Because I've got the stuff that I wanted to share already.
Absolutely, go ahead.
You got me on that?
Yes,
okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. And I do want to reiterate what you're saying, Roger. First of all, first line of defense is your chairperson. I just heard of a person who wrote their own grievance. It basically said 3 days suspension is too much, and they turned it in. You know, your chairperson is required to help you by law. The union is required. And so please reach out to your chairperson. Sometimes I have people say, oh, my chairperson doesn't like me or this. I don't care what your personal relationship is. They are knowledgeable. They have practiced. They have experience. Right here, Roger, this is the grievance form. You just showed people how to get this. This is for all of our groups, not just for 9163s. It's for any one of our employees. So you put your name there. You put the date over here to the right that you're submitting it. You put your classification, so 9163, 9132, 7410, whatever group you are, whatever your job is, cap number for operators, badge numbers for others, division, you could put, if you work for a Department of Public Health, you could put which group you work for, or If you work at the airport, if you work at Green Division, if you work at Woods, you put that here. All right, nature of the grievance. This is where you tell a little story of what happened. I'm going to show you some grievances that I wrote, Roger, and just here in a minute. But what's the story? They're suspending me for 5 days for doing this, and that's too much. Then there's the rule violation. Like, what rule did they violate to suspend you? Not that you drove to, that you broke rule 2.8.1, but what rules did they break? And that's in the contract. And settlement desired. I don't want anything. I want a 1-day suspension. If you did something really, really, really bad, we've seen, and they're trying to get you for a 10-day suspension, and you say, just throw it out. It might be more realistic based on what you did. Talk to your chairperson. You might put a 1-day suspension. You might put a written warning. You might put a caution and reinstruct. We had somebody who put down they wanted a 2-day suspension for something that they were getting a 5-day. When they came back with the 2-day suspension, we said, should we take it to the arbitrator? No, he asked for a 2-day. He got a 2-day. So that is the settlement desired. You sign it here. It says signature of employee or signature for the representative. What happens then, Roger, it says management's reply. Your division manager will take it. They'll look at your argument. Most typically, they'll just say denied. Hopefully, they'll explain why it was denied. And then they'll sign it and title it. What typically happens then is it comes to me. I put in a hearing request since you put in a grievance. If the grievance is denied, and there are a few exceptions where it actually gets approved and there is a change to your discipline, but typically it's denied, and then we take it to a step 2 hearing. That's where I step in. I do step 2 hearings with employee labor, going against employee labor relations. And then there's also step 3, which is with an arbitrator making the decision. That's an outside entity, and that's where we stand our best chance. All right. I do want to point out a couple things in the contract. Section 22.3, statement of a grievance. So this is actually in the contract where it tells us specifically how the grievance should be written. It says the union and the SFMTA agree that all grievances, regardless at which step initiated, must include the following. So this is the first part. Remember, I said you write about what happened. It says the specific reason or reasons for the grievance, including the date of the incident giving rise to the grievance, an explanation of the harm that occurred. They're suspending me for 5 days, and that's too much. And the name, the classification, the division of the affected employee and or employees. Okay. Then the second part, that's where I pointed out where it says rule violation. It says the section or section of the contract which the union believes has been violated. And then the third part, the remedy or solution being sought by the grievance. So as I said before, 1-day suspension, written warning, caution, reinstruct, the whole thing thrown out. So this is what it says in our MOU and our contract. This is what grievances have to have in them. And so the grievance form that, I mean, you could put a grievance on anything, but the grievance form that the union has created is perfect because it has those 3 things, and it's easy for you just to follow along and put the 3 things that you need. All right. I do want to put this as well. This is right there in the same section. It's more important, Roger, that these grievances get in on time after the decision of the Skelly. Okay, you have a Skelly meeting with your division manager, usually your chairperson, and you get a Skelly decision. If it says 3 days, 5 days, 1 day, whatever it says. If it says written warning, of course, rebuttal, watch that video on rebuttals, but this is about people who get suspended 1 day, 3 day, 5 day, 10 day, or dismissal. It says, you need to get it in within 7 days. If you don't get it in within 7 days, it's untimely, and we can't fight it. But right here, people get worried that they might not write it correctly. It's more important that you get it in on time than you write it correctly, because the MOU says the SFMTA shall return any grievance that does not include the information specified above. The union may resubmit a grievance adding the missing information, and all the dates and other provisions shall be triggered off the new submission date. The union if the union submits the amended grievance within 14 calendar days from the date the SFMTA returned the grievance, the SFMTA will not deny the grievance based on timeliness unless the SFMTA asserts the original grievance was not timely. So you get what I'm saying? Turn it in. Doesn't matter if it's poorly written, if it's not enough information, they'll give it back and they'll give you 14 days to do it. So you originally only have 7. In this part of the contract, it says right here, well, it's okay. If you didn't write it correctly, they'll give it back and we've got 14 days. All right, here's the grievance form. I want to give you a couple examples so you can see this in action. What the agency's been trying to do, and some of you have noticed, is up the amount of discipline they've been giving. So one of the things that they're going for, Roger, is they've decided, I mean, in the past, if somebody was going over the speed limit, they'd pull you in with your trainer, with the training department person, they pull you in, they say, hey, look at this, you're going 35, the speed limit's 30, slow it down. Okay, you're going down Fulton, you can go fast down that hill out to the ocean, you're going 40, it's 30 in this section, slow it down. But now they've decided to install new cameras and for whatever reason, suspend people for 3 days, which is extremely aggravating given that they seem to say that they need more people for more service. Here's what I wrote. We're working on this with the board, and I'm going to be working with them tomorrow at the grievance meeting to make some template grievances because they're just doing this, the 3 days for speeding over and over and over. So we're going to write a grievance that we can use over and over and over so we don't have to rewrite it every time. It says the SFMTA is claiming their equipment recorded the operator driving over the posted speed limit. The operator has no history of speeding. The SFMTA is required per the MOU to take into consideration both the operator's history and progressive discipline, but is considering neither in this case. Furthermore, the agency is not consulting past arbitration decisions. This is a violation of the MOU, ergo the law. So the rule violations here, we put 19.1, which says that they need to consider an employee's length of service and history, and 19.4, which is progressive discipline. Also arbitration decisions. So right here we have 2321 out of Flynn, 6321 out of Woods, and 3321 out of Woods as well. What does that mean, Roger? It means those are cases where they tried to suspend people for 3 days. We took it all the way to the arbitrator, and the arbitrator said written warning. And we're doing it over and over and over. It's spending time and money. But if that's what the agency wants to do, we'll keep fighting them on it. Settlement desired, I put issue a caution, reinstruct. It's more likely that we're going to get a written warning, but why not ask for a caution and reinstruct? I did want to put right here to explain what 19.1 is. 19.1, standards of discipline, paragraph 226, SFMTA's executive director, CEO, or designee may discipline for any non-probationary permanent operator for just cause. In imposing discipline, the SFMTA shall act in a fair and equitable manner. Discipline imposed shall be related to the offense committed with due regard to the operator's employment record. If you've been here for 20, we've got people who've been here for 25 years, they get pulled in for speeding and they want to give them a 3-day suspension. Then right here, section 19.4, definition of discipline and progressive discipline. Paragraph 233, for most offenses, SFMTA will use a system of progressive discipline under which the operator will be given an increasingly more severe level of discipline. A common pattern might include oral warning, written warning, suspension, and finally discharge for cause. They're supposed to start low and work their way up. But they're trying to argue we don't always have to start at the bottom. They're trying to cut out some steps to be able to fire people earlier, and I'm not appreciating that. Now they will say that this part, right, say a common pattern might. So they're saying might include, it doesn't have to. Well, the next paragraph, 234, says progressive discipline need not apply in cases of severe misconduct. So this is the might right here, Roger. It's talks about operating equipment under the influence of alcohol and beverages, use of alcoholic use of possession of drugs or alcohol, mishandling of funds, vicious conduct, getting in fights, or serious willful abuse of the SFMTA equipment. So this is what we're fighting most of the stuff on, Roger, is they're over disciplining people. So another example of a grievance here, another thing, and if they try and get you on this, grieve it. It says this operator was given a 3-day suspension for an alleged ADA pass-up. There was no ADA hearing. Roger, in the past 3 years ago, 4 years ago, pre-COVID, they would have specific ADA hearings. They'd bring you in, have an ADA expert, and they'd have a hearing. They're not doing that. So we put, there is no ADA hearing. This accusation is a pass-up. A pass-up is typically caution, re-instruct, or written warning. This is a violation of progressive discipline in the MOU and therefore the law. Right now it says 14.1. I'm going to change it. I'm going to put 19.1 and 14.1. Here's some arbitration decisions: 108.21 WD out of Woods and 113.21 out of Green. These are examples of where the arbitrator took their 3-day suspension and lowered it to a written warning. An arbitrator, once again, is when you get it, when you get the judge to be somebody fair and impartial. It costs money, the union pays money, the agency pays money. And I want you to notice here, it says caution, re-instruct, and ADA training. The arbitrator actually said in their decision that the agency must train people in ADA training. And so, I don't know, another 5-6 months from now, I'm going to go back. I'm going to say, hey, have these people been trained? If they say no, I'm going to demand it because it was part of the arbitrator decision. Roger, I think the last thing I want to do here is I want to make sure, I mean, we could do a whole clip on progressive discipline, but the city of San Francisco uses a system known as progressive discipline. A simple internet search will give you the definition and explanations of progressive discipline. I just Googled, there was all these different definitions. I like this one out of University of Indiana. They put it this way: progressive discipline is the process of using increasingly severe steps or measure when an employee fails to correct a problem after being given a reasonable opportunity to do so. The underlying principle in sound progressive discipline is to use the least severe action that you believe is necessary to correct the undesirable situation. Increase the severity of action only if the condition is not corrected. We had one person who was doing something. They were getting warnings. This was before I came in, but warning. 1 day, 3 day, 5 day, 10 day. By the time I came in, the arbitrator said, this guy has been warned over and over and over, and he's just not getting it, and it's a safety violation. And unfortunately, that person had been given many opportunities, and he was let go because the arbitrator said they followed progressive discipline on this. So one of the main things we're doing, fighting for progressive discipline over and over and over. They need to give you the chance to say, oh, okay, that's what you want. That's how you want me to drive. Okay. Or that's how you want me to act. Okay. I'll see what I can, let's see if we can get it in alignment with what the agency is asking us to do, or the city is asking us to do. And once again, the least severe action that is necessary. Thank you, Roger.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks a lot for all of that helpful information, Executive Vice President Pete Wilson. And you guys, that was a lot of information. And this is why, you're able to go back, rewind this, and play it again so you can listen to the information. The majority of us have never filed a grievance. The majority of us probably will never file a grievance. But whenever a rule or something has been violated in the MOU, please reach out to your union chairperson. Remember, that is your first line of defense, and put in that documentation, put in that paperwork, because the agency, whenever they want to get you on any sort of discipline violation, whatever the case may be, they always document it in writing. So if all you do is complain about it on Facebook, it's not going to go anywhere, you guys. We have to use the proper channels and the proper modes of communication in terms of writing things down. Pete Wilson did an excellent job right now of breaking it down in the most lucid manner possible. So please reach out to your union chairperson. Everybody is very well equipped in terms of being able to assist and serve our membership. All right, you guys. Pete Wilson, anything else? Any closing remarks?
Yeah, just one last thing, Roger. We now have done a clip on rebuttals. That's if you get a caution, re-instruct, or a written warning, and we've done a talk on grievances, and agreeing with Roger 100%. Go to your chairperson. But if you get discipline, grieve it. If you get some sort of warning, rebut it. These people are over disciplining our people. They're upping their discipline. They're putting in cameras to catch more people more often. And I know that employee labor relations is not happy with the amount of things that we're grieving and we're fighting. Guess what? I'm not happy with the amount of discipline they're dishing out. So feel free to fight it. It's your right. Fight the powers.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Executive Vice President Pete Wilson. Thank you, General Membership TW Local 258, and keep looking out for more of our transit clips. As always, work the rules and stay safe out there. All right, you guys, take it easy.